Greetings, Namaskara. Derive the expression for current in a conductor in terms of drift velocity. Okay, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು derivations ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು 5 marks ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಇಷ್ಟು ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. And hence arrive at the expression for electrical conductivity. Okay, electrical conductivity ನ derive ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇದು actual measure 1. ಇದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ 5 marks ಬರುತ್ತೆ. 5 marks short question. And most of the time they have asked this probably. ಅಂದರೆ most probable question ಇದು. ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ PYQsನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ previous year questionsನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ this is most of the time ಇದು repeated question ಇದು. Okay, most of the time it is a repeated question. So if you check the basics for this thing, assuming the expression for drift velocity, okay, assumption ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಅವನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಏನೇನು ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ the first basic is drift velocity. Drift velocity VD is equal to EE, magnitude ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, EEM divided by tau. Okay, E for charge, E for electric field, and tau for relaxation time, and M for the mass of the electron. This gives the drift velocity. And next thing ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ J is equal to I by A, where J is called current density, I for current and A for area of cross section. ಇದು ನೆನಪಿರಬೇಕು. And we should also know that V is equal to EL. Okay, V ಅಂದರೆ potential, E ಅಂದರೆ electric field, L ಅಂದರೆ length. Okay, and J is equal to sigma E. ಇದನ್ನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತದ V is equal to I R. R is equal to rho L by A. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? Therefore, V is equal to I into rho L divided by A. Therefore, V divided by L is equal to I by A into rho. Therefore, V by L ಅಂದರೆ already ನಮ್ಗೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. What is that? That is nothing but electric field is equal to rho into I by A ಅಂದರೆ J. Okay, we have defined it as a current density into J. Okay, so J. Therefore, J is equal to 1 by rho into E. That is J is equal to sigma E, where 1 by rho ಅಂದರೆ resistivity, sigma ಅಂದರೆ conductivity. ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. Once we know all the basics, then we can pitch into the derivation. So, derivation ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ let us consider a conductor. Okay, ಈ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ we have total n number of electrons. N is number of electrons per unit volume. Per unit volume it contains this much of things. And let us assume that it is having a distance, means I am considering a distance of delta x, and either the area of cross section bandu A. Okay, so let us consider that it is connected to a potential V, so that all the electrons, if it is connected to potentially, then electric field will be in this direction inside the conductor, and electron starts moving in this direction. Okay, electrons enacted, they starts moving in opposite direction against the field. Therefore, then the drift velocity is given by Vd is equal to EE, magnitude ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, EEM divided by EE tau divided by M. Therefore, the total current I is given by delta Q divided by delta T. This is the average current I, where delta Q is nothing but total charge, is nothing but total number of electrons into charge of each electron. So, total number of electrons is given by number of electrons per unit volume into volume, where there is a number of electrons per unit volume, and that is what we call it as number density anta ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು. Therefore, total number of electrons is equal to number of electrons per unit volume ಅಂದರೆ N, already we defined it, per unit volume. Therefore, n into volume ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, area into length. Length ನಾನು delta x, small change ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Let me assume it as delta x. Therefore, delta q can be replaced as NA into delta x into E. Therefore, I is equal to NA delta x divided by delta t into E. Whenever any potential difference is connected across the conductor, whatever the delta x by delta t, change in length by change in time is nothing but velocity. That velocity is called drift velocity. Adanne navenanta kariತೀವಿ drift velocity, means it is drifting. It is drifting. Therefore, we can write I is equal to n EA into VD, where VD is the drift velocity. So, ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ first part of the question ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತು. Next part of the question ಬಂದಾಗ we have I is equal to NEA VD, but the magnitude of VD is equal to EE tau divided by M. So, substituting it, we have I is equal to NEA into E tau divided by M. That implies that NE square A tau divided by M into E. ಈ ಏನ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ what we have I by A is equal to NE square tau divided by M into E. But we know that I by A is nothing but J. Already basics ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, where it is called current density. J is equal to NE square tau divided by M into E. From vectors Ohm's law of vector form, we know that J is equal to sigma E. Let me call this as equation number 1 and let me call this as equation number 2. On comparing equation 1 and 2, we can say that conductivity sigma is equal to NE square tau divided by M. ಇದೇ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿ he can also ask as a resistivity. ಓಕೆ, ಕಂಡಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಕೇಳಿದಾನೆ, ಇದನ್ನು ಆಲ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ರೆಸಿಸ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಅಂತಲೂ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. Resistivity is nothing but 1 by conductivity, that is equal to M divided by NE square tau, where tau is called relaxation time. Tau andre ಏನಂತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು, relaxation time ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So I hope you understood this, and this is very important question. Okay, should practice more. Okay, thank you.